welcome.
It's so great that more and more couples are coming. I mean, a couple came in, another couple, and a couple, which is delightful to us. So my name is Gavin Taylor.
I'm Joy.
And this is the kind of stuff we love to do. And I can honestly say, looking back, I met Joy almost 2.5 years ago. I was dating on spiritualsingles.com, and we connected. I lived up in Seattle. She lived in Mount Shasta. And from the moment we connected, we really had something quite special and very rewarding for both of us, things we'd prayed for. And we found that our passion for relationship was shared. And because we had such a rich relationship, we went, wow, how did that happen? And we started to really ask questions like, well, is this just luck? Or were there things that we had done each individually that prepared us for having a quality relationship? Not a perfect relationship by any means. We're both very human. We'll share a lot of that with you tonight. But it's our joy to talk to people who want to have relationships that are flourishing. And I don't know about you, but I didn't learn very much about how to be in relationship through all the years of school. And I've had 2 marriages, and I did the best I could, but I'm just grateful to be with Joy now, in the culmination of my life and my relationships. And it's a pleasure for us to share all of this with you tonight. So I hope you have a rewarding evening.
And it's a pleasure to be doing it together and to practice. And tonight we'll practice with you and invite you into self-inquiry. We do an online workshop series every month. And so we have people all over the country and sometimes all over the world joining us for different themes. And we've done a lot of different themes and been able to explore. And this particular one is one of our all-time favorites.
It just turns out to be, this is something we've just come to really treasure. And we had no idea when we chose safety as a theme that it would unfold like a flower with so much depth and so many tools and so much meaning. So we'll share a lot of that with you tonight.
Yeah, we'll talk about creating safety within self, which is where it always begins in any conversation about relationship, the relationship we have with ourselves. So we will really tune into that in our own consciousness, in our own bodies, in our own experience of being incarnate on earth. And then more specifically, how can we create safe relationships? And these are romantic relationships. This is also within the family, within friends, with your neighbors.
In your business.
Safety allows so much freedom. I have found in our relationship, which we started from the get-go, committing to creating safe space for each other. And I found very early on that it was easy to be with Gavin, and I could be me. And in that relaxation of the safety to be all of me, the vulnerable me, the scared me, the proud me, the sometimes egotistical know-it-all me, I was loved, I was safe, I was able, and in that comes the healing, and in that comes the most natural thing in the world, which is that we're all evolved to grow. We're all evolved to come into our potential like an acorn seed into a tree. But it needs a safe environment. We all need a safe environment and safe relationships. But it's our responsibility. It's not the other people outside of us. It's our responsibility to maintain that safety and to discern and choose the relationships that really nourish us. So these are some of the things we'll talk about tonight.
We want to encourage you as you're listening, the way we approach this kind of an exchange with you, with a group, is that we have our experience. Joy has hers, I have mine. Each of you are unique and have your own life experience, your ways of perceiving, your ways of defining reality. We're not here to say we have all the answers. We have the truth. We don't even view it that way. We will be very transparent about what we've discovered and what we discover in working with other people with relationships and supporting them being flourishing ones. But inside of you, we want to encourage you to just pay attention as we talk. Are there things that stand out to you? Like, I hadn't thought about it that way. Or, oh, that explains my first marriage, or
Revelations
or-
could happen tonight. Be ready.
yeah, or a certain way you've held something. It's like we're asking you to consider holding it another way, and we're asking you to just try it on. My teacher for years just said, your responsibility is to listen to what I say, but then check it out yourself. So this is more of an exploration and a laboratory, and we hope that you walk out that door with discoveries that said, I think I have a little more leverage here about how to play the game with relationships. That's our goal.
So we'll start with a personal inquiry and invite you each to just contemplate for a moment. There's probably a lot of ways that you create safety in relationships. How do you create safety in relationships for others? But just take a moment and think about one way that you create safety in relationship. And if someone does want to share, well, if you share like one sentence and we'll just repeat it so we make sure people watching the video can hear it. Does anything come to mind?
What are some of the ways that you create safety? Yeah.
I'm not saying I do it all the time, but validation.
Yeah.
Validation.
Yeah. Yeah.
Validation.
Yeah.
Not agreeing, but validating.
But affirming.
And that makes it safe for the other person. Oh, you're listening. It's okay for me to have my thoughts, my feelings, my opinions.
Yeah.
That would be vulnerability.
Yeah. Yeah. I was brought up with vulnerability as most people are, a definition of weakness. The further I go along in life, it's 180 degrees from that. I find when I'm willing to be vulnerable, I lead from strength, not control, but it has an impact in setting the intention for how I want to be in an honorable relationship, and then I'm willing to take the first shot. It's powerful. That's great. What other ways to create safety did you come up with? Yeah.
Presence.
Presence.
I try to stay grounded and kind of be very maternal and present.
So being present with the person in front of you in your relationships. And you also said staying grounded.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's nice. That's nice.
I taught at the University of Santa Monica for 16 years. They had a master's degree program in spiritual psychology. And in the first year of that program, they taught 22 different communication skills. The first one, they said, was the foundational one. Everything else builds on it. And it's based on what you said, Ruby.
Oh.
And it was seeing the loving essence. So you're with someone, they're saying something, and you're taking in the words. But the attunement you have is to like a deeper level of like how you can just honor them for who they are. It's not a mental place. It's just a, what's the old one? The beauty I see in you is the beauty I see in me, or the
Well, that works.
Yeah.
Let's go with that.
Yeah.
That's the new one.
Yeah.
The new one.
yeah.
The
So-
beauty I see in you.
But
is the
these
beauty
things
I see-
radiate, they transmit something to the person that then they feel safety. If you're genuinely honoring them in presence, it's powerful.
What's nice about presence is it isn't judging. That pure presence and seeing the beauty is that non-judgmental, accepting space. That allows people to feel very safe. Yeah. Okay, yeah, Deborah.
Risking telling the truth.
Risking telling the truth.
We tell the truth, and we have from the beginning, and it's always a risk. I mean, I get chills just thinking about it.
You know why that really feels so important to me is I know that even when I tell the truth and it might disappoint someone, let's say they're inviting me to do something and I'm a no. I'm using a very simple example. They can count on me to be truthful. So there's safety with me. They know I'm honest. I'm telling the truth. I'm setting the tone not to be a pleaser, but to be a truth teller. I'm taking that risk, as you put it. I might disappoint someone. And God knows I disappoint people all the time. But they can count on me to be truthful. And there's ways to be truth-telling and take that risk that are compassionate. Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. That's great. Thank you.
Any others? Yeah.
Following through on your word, on my word.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Following through on my word.
Honoring your word and honoring the other person in the agreement that you made.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
That
interesting.
builds safety, for sure.
I'm seeing, again, that correlation between safety and trust.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I feel safe when I'm trusting the person I'm with. I'm trusting that they're going to be honorable to their word, that they're going to tell the truth, that they're not judging me, they're being present with me, that they can be vulnerable, I can be vulnerable.
Mm.
You already shared this a bit, but
Yeah.
tonight we're sharing stories and you get to take what resonates. We have some frameworks and some ideas, but hopefully there's revelations and then there's things that are applicable. So how can you operationalize this into your relationships? You might think of friends or family or situations that you want to change because of some of the insights that come to you during tonight's talk. That's what we hope.
Yeah.
Oh,
Is it here?
it's here.
Oh,
I'm,
okay.
Oh, I think we're here.
Okay. I won't touch anything again. Okay. So, with everything that's taking place on the planet, no matter what political stripe you might be, I mean, there's a whole lot of very difficult suffering and challenges and polarizing and politics and power and violence. And I mean, I don't know about you, but having a safe encounter with a partner, a family member, a friend, is a rare thing these days. It's something that we treasure all the more because I don't really know how to make sense of everything that's going on in the world, but I do know that it can make me anxious and it can make me scared. And I have to give myself the safety to feel all that. And it's intense sometimes. I'll look at a bombing in Ukraine and, you know, my heart breaks in apart. So safety is about allowing ourselves to meet ourselves with our experience as it is, day to day. It's not an escape to just pretend everything is fine. So I think it takes a lot of strength to learn how to be in touch with a compassionate part of ourselves that can extend itself to parts of us that are troubled or anxious or angry or whatever. So that's part of building safety inside. And particularly right now where there's a lot of unsafety in the world. I mean, I've been a therapist for 45 years. And I work with people that are Jewish. I work with people who are gay. They're afraid. I mean, so it's interesting how the world, my spiritual teacher used to say, this planet, and I'm not saying this is true, it's just what he said, this planet is 8-to-1 negative. But he said, however, it's not designed that way to defeat us. It's designed to strengthen us, to build a relationship with our real strength inside, with our heart, with our truth, with our service. So I used to think being on a spiritual path would make it very easy and life would just get easier and easier. But, you know, I feel more vulnerable than ever, even though I feel more loving than ever. And we're always learning. I mean, we're just learning like little kids learning bicycle riding. That's just our game. So, is this up there?
No, this
Oh,
is still
okay.
up there, then this is going up there. But I just want to add on, for
Yeah.
me, it's all the more, this environment we find ourselves in, it's just all the more important to have the reflections in our lives and the communities that we choose to be in, like even being here tonight, and the friendships that we really cultivate, have a sense of safety. Because we co-regulate with the people we spend time with. We entrain to their resonance. And so as we settle into more security in self and find that core essence, and then we have people in our lives that are also that, you know, we are then the community that is a beacon for a better future. And it's important.
It's very important.
All right, so we wanted to talk a little bit about our kind of general overarching evolutionary flourishing long-term romantic relationship. and how we have found that there are 7 key ingredients, core ingredients.
That we've named. You could probably name 5 more. We're not claiming this is the only view, but again, this was our research project, like, how are we doing this? What did we put in place that allowed us to have such a healthy relationship? So the first 6 ingredients that you see are really, as we're seeing it, each partner gets to develop independently. And even before you meet the partner you're with. If you're dating right now, you're preparing. All those first 6, devotion to love, dedication to truth, psychological maturity, embodied vitality, inspiring contribution, and a grounded foundation in the world. If 2 people are developing and maturing on those levels, and we continue to do that our whole life, and then come together, boy, you've really got to dance. But then the 7th compatibility that we recognized is the shared alchemy. 2 people could have the first 6 going really well, but they really don't enjoy each other, or they want different things in life. So compatibility is something that we did last month. So compatibility in the area of life partner, compatibility sexually, compatibility as a friend, and compatibility as a spiritual ally. Those are, like, no one helped me when I was dating. Like, how do I judge how do I evaluate whether someone is compatible for me? Well, we're trying to piece it out and open it up so people can go, oh, because there are many people I love very much, but I can't live with them. I can't marry them. We can't build a life together, and it just doesn't work. So it's an art to do all of these, to be mature and self-reliant, and then start to surrender to a partner that's doing the same.
And what we mean by inspired contribution is having a creative expression independent of the relationship. We've seen a lot of people come into relationship and their purpose becomes the relationship. A real thriving, evolutionary, healthy relationship. Each partner has developed a movement towards or an expression of their heart's desire and their calling. We're doing this, actually, I just thought of this, Monday night, we're doing this online.
Oh, yeah.
If you want to
About
join
this,
us.
that whole page right there is Monday night.
You're welcome to come. The first time at our workshops is always free online. It's $22 otherwise. And when you leave, you can sign up or you can use a QR code and get on our mailing list. We can tell you about it. But we're going to jump into these a little bit further that night.
So safety tonight is really woven through a lot of what we just talked about. But we wanted you to know about what our orientation was.
And so safety, I just love saying it. Doesn't it feel good? What does it feel like in your body when you feel safe?
You know, it's funny. I keep thinking of safety, and I keep thinking of being in grade school when they had safety class.
Oh.
You know, and they teach you how to use matches, or I've got it associated with, physical skills.
But it is in some ways because, the match in a relationship is like the reactive trigger where you start blaming someone. There's a match. You want to avoid a match. You don't want to play with fire. So it's the same thing. We just want to avoid fire. And if we are going to have...
Fires will be set. How much do they burn and how wide do they burn?
Yeah, and how can you prepare around the fire so that it doesn't spread?
Yeah.
You have a safe container.
And you have water close by.
Yeah.
Yeah, love,
so it's
love,
the same
water.
thing. This is safety class
Okay.
for relationships.
This is good.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So, each partner is responsible for their own sense of safety.
It really is the source of safety. And trust is internal. Doesn't mean that it doesn't matter what someone's doing around you. If someone's wielding a gun and that's not safe, I'm not saying just be safe inside yourself. But the foundation of the experience of safety is internal, and it gets built internally.
And that's building trust with self. So taking the risk to tell the truth with other people starts with taking the risk to tell the truth with yourself. Like to be brutally and beautifully and bravely honest with yourself about what's working in your life and what isn't, and where you need to make changes. and to connect with spirit, to have your own relationship. For us, that's been really important, that it's not just Gavin and I. There's a whole nother element involved in our relationship. It's spirit, and then individually with spirit. And trusting.
And not as a concept, not as a fundamental dogma or religion. An experience of some presence that we partner with that actually is caring for us and in our favor and can be called upon as a force field of love.
Trusting in the benevolent universe, life is for us, so therefore everything that happens is an opportunity to learn. There's a blessing, there's a silver lining. That creates safety in the world. That gives us empowered vision for how we can adapt and shift to what's happening in in our lives.
This last one's self-soothing. I don't know about you guys, but scrolling through Facebook or Instagram, I mean, there are so many posts now about emotional regulation of our nervous system.
That's because your
creating safety.
algorithms are
Well,
lining up.
maybe
That's what you get on your.
How many have you seen that?
Who else is?
But just imagine now.
I'm 69. I'm going to be 70 in November.
Doesn't he look great?
But I must tell you, emotional regulation, I didn't even learn any of that in school. This is like, there's so much rich education and wisdom just being paraded around the world. For those of us that are students, I mean, it's a really rich time. So self-soothing and being able to do that, it's like, well, what do you do when you get triggered by your partner? And we'll talk about that.
What's so great about having this kind of relationship with self is it makes it so much easier for us to help the people in our lives be that for us. It makes it easier for us to ask for what we need to be soothed. It also creates a much easier way of setting what many people call boundaries, because we know what works in our field. We know what works for us. We know what we treat ourselves so well. Why would we let someone else treat us otherwise? Because we've developed that within our own psyche. And it just becomes natural to say, wow, that hurt. That didn't feel good, because I don't let myself treat myself that way. Oh, which is what I was going to share a little personal story,
and
then we're going to invite you to play with this as well. But finding more safety within myself came with setting clear boundaries with a part of my consciousness that is the critical one, my inner critic, who would focus most of the time on what I was doing wrong or that I wasn't enough, as opposed to what I did great, or that I'm out here and I'm learning and I'm taking a chance, or that's noticing what's good about me. So at the end of, I teach online as well, and I'd get off and all I could think about, the critic could think about, is what I did wrong. And that got really wearing.
You can imagine it didn't create safety in her relationship with herself.
Yeah.
I mean, there's shots being taken.
Yeah. So I took dominion over my own consciousness, and I put the loving part of me in leadership. And so do I still hear the criticism? Yes, absolutely. Sometimes I hear, oh, you don't look right, or oh, you did that wrong, or whatever I want to be critical about myself, whatever that voice is. But there's something so much stronger inside of me, and she's like, no bullies allowed. There's a real strong line. There's a real strong line.
You have just moved the needle on that one.
And life is so much better because I'm seeing what I'm doing well. If there is time for the critique to improve, I'm taking it inside of myself in stride as like, great, I'm so glad I have a critical mind, by the way. Because it does help me like improve and get better and change, and I notice things when I'm off. I can apologize when I've trespassed. But this choice, it was New Year's this year. It was my New Year's resolution that I just wanted to get stronger. And you helped me with that, because Gavin's really good at boundaries, which is a very healthy, masculine, energetic, by the way, those strong boundaries. And he said, you cannot let yourself, put yourself down like that anymore. And I said, you're absolutely right. It's not allowed. It's not allowed.
And
And
that-
it's safer inside my mind.
Yeah.
It's so much safer inside my mind. And it's not that I was critical all the time. I mean, of course, I had relatively good self-esteem, but inside that was going on to the detriment of feeling safe. Because the critical one especially, and I know we all have the critical one or the scared one or the insecure one or whatever you want to call them, but those parts of us can tell a lot of stories about what a really scary world it is out there and how no one really likes us and how things never work out for us, and before you know it, zoop, it's not safe. It's not safe.
And I certainly have my own issues. We'll talk about those tonight.
Oh, good.
But the way I know enough about how consciousness works, that if Joy is working with healing a part of her that criticizes herself, she'll also be criticizing me. It will come my way.
That's right.
And I would feel it when it would come, and I would say something. I wouldn't shove it back in her face. I'd just say, wow, that's really painful. And so that was part of what helped her take something that had been unconscious, which was self-criticism, which, you know, flowed in from her mom, along with a lot of other wonderful things. But still,
I'll just
It's
nod
like
my head and
the-
say, I was trained.
yeah.
You know,
the
I was.
quality of our relationship, because she's taken a move on that, enhanced like crazy. It's just really wonderful, really wonderful.
Yeah, so cultivating that within myself and then seeing what I love about you and focusing more and
Yeah.
more and more on what
Yeah.
you're doing right, instead of, you know, we had a great evening, but Gavin said one thing wrong, and what's the inner critic gonna point out, right?
Yeah.
So as within, so without. But what I know I can do, and I know what we all can do, is take responsibility for our own mind and self-talk and our own consciousness, and it will in turn us into just an even better friend, lover, partner, sister, brother.
It's a wonderful thing to make progress in your own growth, and then it benefits the relationship too. It's like, wow, that's pretty cool. So,
How's
So-
everyone doing? We're hanging with, okay, great.
so that's my teacher, John Roger, and he had a real interesting approach to being in relationship with all the people he trained. And he said, I trust people to do what they do, which was really cool, because he didn't have expectations, and then they were disappointed, and then he'd punish them. He'd hear what they said they wanted to do, but he was focused on them doing, like trusting what they do. And if they happened to fall short, then he knew where he could help them, and he would support them. But there weren't a lot of expectations loaded into the process.
And with this,
So
there's,
he was the safest person I've ever met.
well, I'm thinking there's so much discernment here, because then I can get to know and experiment with people. I just am going to trust them to do what they do, and then over time, as we're building relationships, we start understanding in what other ways might this person be safe and trustworthy. But we're not, you know, assuming. What were you going to say?
I have a great story.
Go for it.
I was 25 years old, and I started to open up and having spiritual experiences. It was a glorious time in my life, because prior to that, I didn't grow up with religion or spirituality at all. So it was like my heart started to open. It was like, wow. So, and this was a teacher, John Roger, and so I was drawn to him, and I learned, and I got immersed in all of his seminars and things. So about 6 months in, I was in the same room as him in a training, and I finally got my courage up. It's courage like you were talking about, Deborah, is I went over to him, scared to death. I said, I want you to know, since you've been in my life is transformed, and I cannot tell you how thankful I am. He said, that's really wonderful. And I said, and I'm scared of you. I feel awkward around you, I feel insecure, and I don't know what that is, but I just wanted to acknowledge it. It's that vulnerability. He reached over, he gave me the sweetest hug, and he said, wow, that's brave. He said, insecurity is a wonderful thing. It just means you need more information. Wow. He not only affirmed my experience, he heard me, he honored me, and then he spoke to the wisdom about insecurity. And he meant it. And, you know, we had a relationship for 35 years, and wow, I felt safe with him. Yeah, okay.
So this is, when we do this as a workshop setting, we have more writing prompts and group sharing, but we wanted to pause at this slide and just let you take in what we've covered so far and contemplate reflecting upon your relationship with yourself.
Yeah.
In what ways have you or do you erode safety? And in what ways do you create a sense of safety in your relationship with yourself? And that can include physical safety, because that's important too, that we create physical safety in our lives.
So as you reflect on those, just looking at your own experience and your relationship with yourself, any of you like to share what ways that you are aware that you erode safety? And you're just willing to share. Yeah.
Not doing what I say I'm going to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not living the truth that
Yeah.
I should be.
That's so powerful. I think it was Jack Canfield, I heard him talk about self-confidence and self-esteem, and he said one of the best ways to build it is to make commitments to yourself and follow through with yourself. And one of the ways to really erode that is exactly what you said. Yeah, to maybe not follow through on your commitments to yourself. That's insightful. Thank you.
Yeah. Others. Yeah.
Override intuition.
Aha.
Overriding
Wow.
intuition.
Overriding intuition. Wow.
Yeah,
I
that
mean, that's a fork in the road to two very different experiences of your relationship with yourself.
Yeah, and having become a lot, going like, okay, not going to listen to the red flags, not going to do this or whatever, moving forward. So it's like, it's really been a big growth place for me.
Yeah, yeah.
Of like not doing that anymore. Like,
Yeah.
Like seeing the inclination and going like, no, not doing that anymore.
Right, right. Yeah, it's like her working with her critic. You're working with this. This is a lifelong practice that
Yeah.
you, and it takes vigilance, because even if, let's say, you made in 1 year, you did that half amount of times as you did the year before. To me, that would be, wow, that's a big change. But some of these things are so insidious, and they just like to sneak back in there and surprise us.
And I love that you're bringing intuition into the conversation of safety, because our intuitive knowing, whether it's a somatic, just a sense, or if it's for some people it's a vision, or it's sight, or some people hear things. But there's so many ways that we get those intuitive nudges that just propel us in beautiful directions, and often intuition comes to keep us safe. In fact, fear also, by the way, which gets a bad rap as an emotion sometimes, but it's I'm so glad I have fear, because it's designed in the human body to warn us, don't go there. It is a red flag.
Pay
So
attention.
sometimes our fear is worthy of listening to. It's part of our intuitive system. It's part of our navigation system. And this is how we stay safe. So powerful, yeah. And it's a practice. It's a practice.
Yeah.
I find that I often cover fear or insecurity with judgment, but that's like, it's almost like in order to justify the unsafe feeling, instead of dealing with whatever it is inside myself, I look for somebody else to blame or to judge.
Yeah. Is it kind of like it's like a game of superiority?
Do you want to
think?
repeat the insight to your
So what's your name?
Eric.
Eric, thank you. Eric was saying sometimes he's aware that feeling fear, or, to hide the fear that he might be experiencing, he judges as a pattern. At least you've watched that somewhere in your life. That's pretty common. Yeah. So then vulnerability doesn't really get a chance to get brought forward, no? Does that fit? Yeah. Yeah. Well, how is it for you to just confess that to the group?
Uncomfortable.
Yeah. I acknowledge you for being brave enough to say it, because it's true. It's just something you work with, just like she shared hers. Yeah. 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 Are you making progress with working with some of that, would you say?
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah. Yeah.
It's nice that you've made the link so then you can notice. I know for myself, because I think a lot of us can relate to what you said, that if I move into judging, making myself more superior or blaming someone else or whatever judgment, judging myself, then it's almost like an indicator light. Ding, 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 ding. Where's the judgment coming from? Is there something underneath it? So making the link and then noticing I'm in the judging mind, there must be something else going on that I'm not feeling. Because it's not my natural state. It's not our natural state. So insightful.
You know what's amazing, Eric? It's like, we've never met. You're here, you listen to this. We ask, we have something to say, you say yes, and you say it. But it's uncomfortable. And I go, wow, that's incredible. And so I just want to take a risk with you and tell you an example of my vulnerability. So we've been together for 2.5 years. We've got a really remarkable foundation. It's incredible. There wouldn't be any rational reason for me to feel insecure. But I've had to deal with an insecurity from the beginning. That somehow she's going to realize, you're not the guy I thought you were, or, I think I'd prefer to go over here. So we got married in September last year, so a little year ago. I've held that insecurity all the way to the wedding. I was convinced she might not follow through. So we're getting married, and that part that's insecure, because it's a part of me, right? That part's watching, and I went, will you look at that? She was really serious about it. She really wants to marry me, right? So then she just goes off 2 weeks. She goes to Austin to a healing retreat.
This just happened. I just got back Sunday.
Got back 2 nights ago. So
it's the longest we've been away from each
2
other.
weeks.
Yeah.
So, and I'm doing great. I'm fine. But then one day, there's 2 hours where she doesn't text right away. Little kid in me, and a lot of this got seeded when I was in my teens and my own trauma. But I could tell I was getting afraid. I was getting insecure. And I know enough. I've been conscious for all these years, but it's still, I'm human. So I go, I'm starting to fantasize about her meeting another man. So I go, what do I do with this? So I get on the text and I go,
Bad nightmare.
I'm starting to imagine that you haven't responded and that maybe you met somebody there. And then I wrote, Eric, what would really be helpful is if you could reach out and reassure me.
That's nice.
Which was really cool because I started feeling insecure, and probably 10 minutes later I'm writing and I'm asking what I need to address the fear. And not because, and I guess what I'm saying is I saw it as a win that I was so real, And she called me.
As soon as I got it, which was
reassured
maybe an
me
hour
like,
later.
oh my God, and it was really cool because, again, in my book, which I have here, I have a chapter called Multiplicity of Selves. And the assumption in that is that we have a lot of different aspects inside of us. I've got a part that's very, very, very confident and whole and complete. And I have that place that showed up 4 days ago. But thankfully, I'm learning how to make room for it. I didn't judge it. I was safe. I said, what do you need? She said, well, it's going to help if we can just not pretend that we're fine and then be in misery and worry. Let's write her. Let's ask her what we need. And it was gone. It was done. So that's my thank you. Thank you for your risk. Huh?
I'm sorry, was this a dialogue you had with yourself to get to that point?
Yes.
Okay.
But I've done a lot of work with those places inside. A lot. you know, I'm a therapist and I've learned a lot and I teach a lot. I write a lot in my book. I counsel people every day about how to handle those situations. But what I don't want to do as a therapist is try to give people the impression that I'm finished, I'm done, because I don't think that's real. So I still am on my path and I work it, you know. But she's offered me a very, very safe place. So the insecurities, if they're really like very, 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 very unconscious, those are the ones that come up in our safe place. So I get to, you know, let them go, you know.
So creating a safe place in relationship, and how do we do it so that we can have those kinds of moments? And
Yeah.
you know, everything that you all said at the beginning when we asked, how do you create safety for others in relationship? There were so many great comments, and we want to talk a little bit about romantic relationships, and we'll share more stories, but
Yeah.
I will say early on,
Yeah.
we made that agreement that we were going to be honest, that we wanted to share insecurities, that we would ask for what we needed and wanted,
Yeah.
and that we would hold for each other, not fixing each other, but just really being able to be there with and for each other. And hear those wounded parts, because we all have them. We all grew up with parents that were amateurs. Even if we were a second or third child, they were still, you know, young, did the best they could. But, you know, we're here continuing to heal those wounds, and in a safe relationship, it's just designed to bring those things up even more. And the more we get into the loving environments, I said it earlier, that when we are feeling safe, it brings out our true potential. It brings out our very best, the acorn, the oak tree. It also will release and shed light on what we've been hiding, our shadow selves, what we've denied, what's even behind the superior judgment, blaming games that we play, so that we get triggered and we say thank you, because that trigger is my teacher, and the one in front of me is my guru, and he's helping me in our safety be able to really see what I haven't seen before. So that safe space for us had to do with being clear that we were willing to play at that level. We were going, let's play all out. Let's be
and
honest.
we had an agreement that we didn't want to have any withholds. So that doesn't mean you share everything, like, you know, I don't really like the shape of your big toe. But a withhold be something like something comes up once and there's this intuition that says share it. No, that's no. Second time, my teacher taught me. Third time it comes up, so then I just go to Joy and say there's something that's very difficult for me to talk to you about, and I just put it on the altar of the relationship. But I must tell you, what's really cool from a safety and trust standpoint, the win came by me sharing with her honestly. It was wonderful to get her reassurance call, but the victory was that I didn't judge myself and I didn't try to hide it. I went for transparency. So there's freedom in that. I want to be in freedom. So what you got?
Sarah has something.
Yeah.
I just want to reply to what you just shared, because I was in a therapy group for a long time, and on the wall it said, "My safety lies in my defenselessness."
Yes.
And people would erase it and write defensiveness. And it was like, no, defenselessness.
You hear what she's saying? My safety lies in my defenselessness, right? Yeah.
So it's like,
Yeah, undefended love. That's a lot of what we're talking about, is undefended love. And we're not saying it's easy. We don't do it perfectly, but boy, the dividends, if you have both parties wanting to play that game.
Ding, 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 that's the key, by the way. You have both parties wanting and have the capacity to play that game or learn to play that game.
Yeah, there's skills involved, for sure, and there's principles involved. We're trying to place that invitation out here tonight. So however much you've gained in that area, can you keep being students with each other? So.
And as much as we're emphasizing safety with self, we want to also point out that it's okay to have your partner help you feel safe.
Yes.
It's okay to co-regulate. It's okay. Sometimes I can just get so out of my body and up there I'm just woo, right? And I'll ground through Gavin. You know, I'll literally tap into his energy and I'll feel myself come down again. You know, when I'm scared or I'm a little anxious or I'm about to do something I've never done and I've got some fear around it. In a beautiful, romantic, thriving relationship, it's really healthy to go to your partner and say, I need help. I need to feel more safe. And that can be a touch, it can be affection, it can be just feeling their presence. And how we can do that. We can deepen each other's sense of safety.
I think the first 20 years I was on a spiritual path, I thought the goal was to be high all the time. And I realized that's not the goal. The goal was, could I be present with all of my experience and embrace it and learn how to do that? So then the human side is the one that wanted all the attention because it was the one that got neglected when I was a kid. So, okay.
Another key to safety in relationship.
I counseled with couples, married people, for 45 years. And about 10 years ago, I had a realization as I was doing work, because I just love working with couples. And the realization was, those couples that were flourishing, they had an orientation where they were genuinely curious and they cherished their partner's experience as much as their own. Because there's two realities in any relationship. There's not one to argue about. You know, you've got one experience, your partner has another experience. But they both need to be felt and seen and heard, coexist. Even if one is disagreeing with the other one. It's like, do you honor your partner enough to meet them where they are and give them a safe space? And so I would teach couples, one talks, the other listens. And one talks and the other listens. It's amazing how magical that can be. It's very healing. So, Gavin's sharing. Love and safety in this relationship, all the different areas where I can grow have shown up like, wow, we can really come alive here. So me as a man coming alive that loves to protect her and serve her and adore her, I've never felt so fully like this in all my life. When I met her, I'd lost 15 pounds in the previous few months, and then I lost another 30. Because she's really very active and healthy and fit, great nutrition, and I had been an athlete when I was a teenager, and I'm reconnected with the athlete, and I've never been healthier. So the part of me that's alive and healthy, it's like, wow, I've got that. The work that we do together, I have my own part in it. She has her part of it. We get to both flourish. And I love being a man. I love that she loves being a woman that's also got a strong masculine and feminine. But your willingness to receive is just...
It's because I feel safe. Some ways to cultivate and deepen safety. So
Okay.
we've been talking a bit about holding space and presence. How do we deepen it in a relationship, any relationship? And one of the 7 A's, we have a slide on all of them, but assurance is so key.
That's what she gave me when she was away, and I asked for it. And I really needed it.
And we give it to each other without the other one needing to ask it. When we first got together, we started the tradition that is taken off, which is Post-it notes for each other. Loving affirmations, but also assurance. You know, I gave you one early on, we're a forever thing. Just so, he still has that one by his desk.
I do.
Okay, rest assured. And we'll see if we have time tonight, but we often talk about attachment theory and how important it is, because in attachment styles, people can get very anxious, they can get very avoidant, and our home base is to feel secure. And the way to bring people into security is to assure your partner, and this can be friends too, I love you, I want to be your friend. I love you. I'm not leaving you. Those kinds of assurances. I really appreciate our friendship. Whatever is going on, assuring the other person. Do you have more?
No, we just have one of our evenings is the 7 A's, and that's just one of them. So.
And these are some
Oh
of
yeah,
the
there
other
it is.
ones.
Bring
Yeah.
your A game. Thanks. Go ahead.
Yeah, these all create more safety in relationship. Acceptance, we've already talked a lot
Right.
about that. That
Right.
creates safety. Appreciations, and specifically assurance appreciation, it's calming.
Apologies. I remember discovering apologies. Wow. I used to think I was so weak if I apologized or I was wrong. I mean, to me, an apology is like telling somebody, I see what I did. I'm sorry. I'm paying attention over here because you matter to me. I'm sorry. I'm not wanting to be doing that. I'm working on that.
Isn't that a great gift to give someone else and yourself? To apologize? Oh, it's so liberating. I love how good it feels in my body when I do it.
There's good old affection. Something about the physical touch when the energy field is loving and genuine. All kinds of activities that we do to connect and be with each other.
And play and have fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Out in nature. And then asks. It's like I asked her. Wrote her and asked her.
And that makes me feel safe because I don't have to guess what he needs or wants. And it goes the other way, right? Women, men, women, any relationship. If we don't ask for what we need and what we want, our friends, our family, our partners, they're guessing all the time. So I know I love it. Mary's one of my dear friends, by the way, and we've had this conversation. Just ask me what you want, what do you need? And the more we do that with each other, the safer I feel in the relationship because I know she's speaking up. Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll do a little bit more and then we'll open up for
Okay.
Q&A. I think
All right.
we've covered that.
Well, let's open up before we do that.
Sure.
Do any of you have anything that you'd like to share that you're realizing tonight or that you saw or that you'd like to say, this has been valuable for me? We're not looking for accolades. We're just wondering if there have been insights, things that you're
Just want
realizing.
to break up and move into conversation.
Yeah,
too.
because
Yeah.
otherwise we're just talking.
What's happening
Yeah,
out there?
Ruby.
Yeah.
What you guys were talking about, it reminded me, it's so easy to skip to the angry place and just be like, oh, this is really happening. Like everything I think is, like, I just believe, or I find a way to believe it, or I like think it could be true and I'm already angry. But when you go to like the vulnerability, like this is what I want from you, this is what I need from you. So it's nice to get into that a little bit and have you tell these stories because it seals it in a little bit better, and just getting to that place where it's like, oh, it's kind of like that light bulb we all need. And it's
No.
nice.
That is part of why we do this, is because we see that people go, wow, you're dancing this thing. It's real. This is available. And we go, yes. And the more people that we meet now that we're together, there are a fair share of people that really are working this that I didn't know. So I do know what you mean, though.
And this asking for what we want and what we need, this we have on our website, this replay for $22 if you're interested in the 7 A's. It was a really fun interactive workshop we did. But the asking is so important. And it can be, I ask friends for things a lot, and it sets the tone. One of the things I often ask for friends is, like, I'm a self-facilitator, and sometimes I just need to process things by talking out loud. And Gavin's getting a little tired of being the sounding board all the time. No. But I will. I will ask. I know you're not. I will ask friends, hey, do you have 10 minutes? I'm like working something out inside of me. Would you be willing to listen? I would love to, because people love giving to us. They love to give to us. They just don't know what to give us. I was at this little retreat for healing, and I made a big girl decision last
this is
week.
good. This is good.
Actually, I didn't know I was going to tell the story, but it's an example of asking for what I needed.
Yeah.
So this is just a group of 10 other people that I just met, but we've been together drinking juice and
Wheatgrass.
and we've bonded over the spring lettuce and soaked sunflower seeds. We know each other pretty well by now. But I made a big girl decision, and I let go of a client that I'd been working with for 6 years, a larger contract, because our work is growing and I'm really wanting to put attention there. And I was nervous about having that conversation because I know that she really counted on me and she wanted me to be there. I knew it would be disappointing her, but I knew it was my truth. And so that morning at breakfast, as we're all sipping our green juice, there were about 8 at the table, and I said, "Can I ask for a little support from the group?" And everyone leaned in,
Yeah.
like, "Yes, what do you need?" And I said, "I'm gonna make a phone call today, and I'm gonna end a client relationship, and I just would love if you could just send some light and support me in this." And everyone was so thrilled. And so they said, yeah, let's hold hands. And we took maybe 30 seconds, and it was just silence. And then I just said, "Thank you." And then, of course, later in the afternoon when I came down, everyone's asking, "How did it go?" And it went wonderful. The next day, one of the people at the retreat was a lawyer, and for the whole week he had one case. It was a remote trial, and he was going to trial with his client. So at breakfast, out of the blue, Chris says, "Can I get support like Joy did yesterday?"
Everybody
He's
leans
like a
in.
some-year-old man. He's all dressed up in his suit because he's going online, and we just held hands. We locked in. And sent him some light for. But I set a tone. It wasn't my intention, but it was like I asked, and then he asked, and so this is what we get to do with each other. The more we ask for what we want, people will ask for what they want, and it does result in having more free and safe relationships. Because what does safety feel like in the body? I asked that before. To me, it's so freeing, just relaxing. Any other insights from tonight or things that you're most getting that you want to apply to your life?
Yeah.
I think you guys put together an interesting grouping of like your 7 A's. They're not a typical list of, like Stephen Covey and 7.
Yeah.
I like it. I like the diversity and the feeling of it, and it gives opportunity for reflection.
Cool.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
From your sharing tonight, it seems just so evident to me. You love being curious and you love learning and evolving. I mean, it's like cat with milk. Yeah.
He has a good sense of humor too.
Yeah.
Let's do a little bit on this. I think this is important.
Can I introduce it in a particular way?
Of course.
One of our other evenings is courageous conversations, because that's really a lot of what we're talking about tonight. It's one of the ways to maintain the safety is that your partner is bringing things to you and not hiding them out of fear or out of insecurity or pushing it away. So continually risking with each other, but it takes courage, because you really at a certain point don't know. When I wrote those words to her 4 days ago, I wasn't for sure how she would respond. Like, "Are you kidding? You're insecure? What do I have to do?" Well, that's not how she responded, thank God. But courageous conversations, so agreements that build safety and trust. Agreements are involved around some very particularly thorny issues that are vulnerable. One of the, being a therapist to couples, money, it often is the biggest battleground. And then there's sexuality, and then what's not here is parenting. Whoa, talk about fierce. So, Joy and I had all of these conversations. We risked talking about these things. And some of these areas were not easy for us. But the fact that we addressed them, we found our way through.
Otherwise, we're making assumptions. If we don't have these courageous conversations, if we don't create agreements, then there can be expectations and assumptions made. And that's when hard feelings come in. But when there are agreements and we're good to our word, which someone said earlier, to yourself and to the other person,
Yeah.
then there is safety. You know, there's so much freedom in knowing that we've decided money. In our case, in this marriage, we just put all our money together. We pooled our money, and that's our agreement. And then we have, you know, nuances of that every month we take a look at our income and expenses. We share a business too.
Right.
You know, so we opened a corporation, so we manage it, and we both have the same values. We have some of the same dreams. We have some of the same aspirations in how we want to save money and how we spend money. And for big purchases, we always discuss it with each other.
Yeah.
And then we also have an agreement that we're both free. I mean, I find a pair of earrings I like, I'm going to buy them.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, an example where it says outside friendships, where it says jealousy. That's a very sensitive area. I mean, I've just mentioned about my insecurity. Sometimes Joy can be insecure. She set me up with a massage with a friend of hers, good, phenomenal massage therapist in Mount Shasta. And I went, and when I came home, Joy had the courage to tell me, I don't know if I'm comfortable with her hands all over your body. And you guys having intimate time, because she goes, I know you get intimate with people. And I said, yes. I said, if you're in any way uncomfortable, I will not have massages. And I didn't feel controlled by that. Why would I want to cause her consternation? But she acknowledged it and owned it. I met it. I was willing to do whatever it took so she felt safe. Interestingly enough, a few months later, she goes, I have no problem with you seeing her now. But she had to walk through that she was insecure. And there was jealousy there because we care about each other so much. If something happened to us, I mean, it would be, it's vulnerable. What we're involved in is vulnerable because we're completely in. But I think it works much better to be wholeheartedly in.
This is an important one for romantic relationships, no matter the sexual orientation.
Yeah.
We're very heteronormative, and we've chosen a monogamous relationship, which was also an agreement and a conversation.
Yeah.
But, you know, it comes up both ways. If I'm connecting with a man, or I have a man from the past contact me, and
Yeah.
we start texting a lot, and
Yeah.
Gavin's like, well, wait a second. That happened
That
not
did
too
happen.
long ago. Well, it's about a year
And it was
and a
not
half
easy
ago.
because I don't want to restrict her. I don't want to run my fears and doubts, but I'm just saying this is vulnerable. I know this or that. I would talk, and we worked it through, you know?
Yeah, and similar response. I don't need to stay in touch with this person, but also assurance. I'm not attracted to them. I'm not attracted to them. It's a friend from the past that I worked with. Beautiful person, beautiful man, not in any way taking away from what we have.
Yeah.
But it is sensitive territory, and there's all of these agreements, there's no right or wrong choice, but the point is that you and your beloved are having conversations of what's going to work for the two of you around friendship and friendship with the opposite sex and around sexuality. If you are choosing monogamy, and just intimacy in general. Both Gavin and I feel we're heart people, and we love to connect, and I love to connect with my sisters, and I love to connect with my brothers. And we feel very comfortable.
I don't want to restrict her heart in the least. But I don't want to betray myself and not speak up so that I appear to be some evolved person that doesn't have these issues.
And then confidentiality. I tend to be sometimes private about more things, so we have an agreement if I share something with Gavin that I really don't want him to share with anyone else, I will let him know. And we've come to really understand and really respect where we want that kind of privacy and where we feel really comfortable sharing our stories with people like you or in our groups and things. But everyone's different, once again. But we can't guess what our partner needs or wants. That's why we need to have these kinds of agreements. I'm aware that we have about 10 minutes, so I'm wondering if we want to just go with more Q&A, or do you want to talk about?
Well, what are the things? No, let's not go there.
Okay.
No.
Yeah.
'Cause it's, okay. Do you guys have any questions? Do you guys have something you'd like to share, or any response back, or need any support? Yeah.
Well, the one thing that's coming to me, just listening, has put me in a pretty reflective state. But I'm just aware of the seasons and the cycles of things. And, when I'm feeling safe, it's pretty predictable that I'm going to be moving into a season, where I'm not. And yeah, so hearing you describe these challenges that you guys have had personally,
Yeah.
it's definitely not the end of that. Like that's, this time, but it really does keep coming back. And
Do you mean like my issues?
yeah, like all our insecurities and our
Yeah.
feelings of safety
Yeah.
will, then be challenged
Yes.
as well.
I think you're right.
But it is interesting that our safety comes not really at the expense, but sometimes at the expense of, the other person and their relationships, like outside relationships.
Yeah.
Often are for the safety of the individual. I'm kind of going off track here, but
Well, I like what you said, and I'm going to go off of that point because it's really important and valid to just over and over remind ourselves that we're learning, that we're
It's a learning orientation.
consistently, yeah, life as a learning orientation, that we keep evolving and we keep growing.
I forgot your first name. Pete? It's Pete. What you're addressing to me is something that, the way I heard it, like these things keep coming around, it's almost like we're humans, is I think that we're incredibly human. Yes, we're divine, and we're incredibly human. And I think life, it seems to both of us, is about a healing and awakening journey. And the healing continues all the way to the end. I grew up in my teens with a sister that was a heroin addict for 17 years, and I had a brother that was for 15 years a white supremacist gang leader, and nationalist and tattoos, and he killed a lot of black people. He was the leader of a gang in the prisons. And they were older than me. So for 8 years I was like holding on for dear life. So that's why some of these things come back, because that's where a lot of my fears and my insecurities came in. So, but they're insidious. It's almost like someone used to ask my teachers, like, how do you know when you're done with your work? And he said, you don't. You just have to be willing, if another layer comes up, you need to be willing to meet it with as much compassion as you can muster and skill, and not make it wrong. It's just part of your journey. So by me talking to her and Risky like the other day, took me more into my safety. It's like, wow, I saw that I was really, I had my own back because I was real and it felt good. And it wasn't an ego response, and I risked and I got more love. And every time that happens, we get stronger, but I also get stronger. So,
it was just an interesting observation that I had, and
Yeah.
just aware of these seasons. And I actually think, we create these seasons of safety come with a level of boredom almost as well. It's like we create chaos for some sort of challenge somewhere, whether it's conscious or subconscious, we're disrupting just to heal it.
I think you're right. Often unconscious patterns get started, and we usually learn them from someone in our life or because of our circumstances. And then they usually run us until we start to learn how to become more loving and more skillful. It's easy to just give over our lives to our unconscious, but that's not the path we're suggesting.
And Pete, you're also just reminding me how, as we do grow and we move out of our comfort zones, Sometimes we might feel a little, it's natural to feel a little insecure. We get better at being comfortable in the unknown and friends with the mystery, but we're constantly stepping out of comfort intentionally. And all the skills we're talking about where we can just hold ourselves and be with ourselves through the fear of taking risks and stepping out of comfort. So we feel safer when we move out of the comfort zone. We bring that part of us that is the anchor into the unknown, in the directions of our dreams and our desires. I know you raised your
Yeah,
hand.
please, we'd love to hear.
So I know that she responded from a really great place and
Right.
reassuring you from that text.
Right.
But do you have any words about when that isn't perfectly aligned, like your process around? So you caught that in a timely manner before your insecurities, took you down a rabbit hole.
That's
and
right.
You were
That's
able
right.
to reach out in a pleasant way that landed well, and she responded in a great way. But if that isn't the case, say your insecurities ignited her insecurities of
Yeah. Yeah.
neediness or whatever it is, and that didn't land, do you have any words of wisdom on that type of dynamic?
Yeah. I think it's important for me to realize that the most important victory is that I was true to myself and I stayed transparent and I risked, because that's what we do and that's why we have the bond we have. If she'd have responded, let's say, by saying, well, honestly, it's kind of scary to tell you this, but I did meet a man here. And he
Or
has
if
touched.
I had responded and put down your...
No,
Go
but,
ahead.
yeah, but let me just say the one. I met somebody, and it's scary to talk to you about this. I'd much rather know that it's actually happening, and so we can deal with reality. And that might have educated me that some of that security was perhaps well-founded, and that we have something to work with. And if it happened to threaten our relationship, we from the beginning have been willing to risk the whole relationship in order to be true to ourselves. So this isn't about holding on to somebody or trying to keep them with you. I want to know that she wants to be with me as I am, and I want to be as I am with her. So I don't know if that answers your question. Does that make sense, though?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I didn't mean to interrupt you, so I'm sorry.
No, or if you'd have mocked me for it.
That's what I was just going to say,
Yeah.
that if I had said, oh, come on, honey, get over it, right? Because that can happen. We share our insecurities, and then the other person's like, get over it, that's bullshit, and then, doesn't really address it. So that could hurt. And then
I would be hurt.
when maybe two anxious personalities, then, no, but I really am. Oh, come on, or I don't have time for that, or whatever. And pretty soon there's the fire. Now we're playing with the matches. This is not a time to have an intelligent conversation. This is a time, for example, if Gavin sent that and I was abrupt and dismissed it, he could say, I'm feeling really hurt. I need a timeout. Let's talk about this later. He can protect and take care of himself.
Yeah.
We can both cool down and then come back and say, I want to walk through what just happened here, because I really was feeling insecure. And what I needed was you to reassure me. I just really need you to reassure me, not diminish the part of me that's scared. So you're taking responsibility for stopping it before it escalates, asking for a little personal regulation to review, coming back, and then expressing, can I just share something with you and be heard? And I don't want you to fix it. If you could just listen. I just want to share with you that really hurt. And what I was really needing was reassurance. So that might be, I'm just giving a case scenario, because it isn't always two totally mature people. We're not totally mature people all the time. Sometimes I'm triggered, he's triggered. And so we've had some opportunities where we're like, okay, just stop. Let's just both stop, get centered, and come back and just debrief what's really
Take a
going
time
on.
out.
Yeah.
In all of my work counseling couples, the most difficult thing for marriage partners or committed couple partners to walk through is when one person's unresolved unconscious issues get triggered, and the other person's unconscious, unresolved emotional issues get triggered, and they're interlocking patterns. It's very difficult to find safety. It takes a lot of skill and a lot of love. But one thing we haven't said tonight that I think is essential is that the evidence that a loving relationship is working is issues get triggered. The goal isn't to avoid triggers. The goal is to be willing to acknowledge them when they show up and learn how to be with them, with each other, with a safety and an honorability, so that healing energy can be brought in where it's never been brought in before. So then part of my bond with Joy is I get to be her partner in the most vulnerable of ways as she heals and grows. And she does the same for me. But sometimes when they show up, it can be fireworks. It can be difficult. And skill is a part of that. And getting support, that's where usually they call me, because they're breaking down and they backed away and they're not safe and they're scared. And they don't know what it means for their relationship.
I'm thinking about one of the resources we have. We have a bunch of resources
Yeah.
on our website. So when you leave, if you want to get information about what we do, but if you go to the free resource section, there's the Courageous Conversations scripts.
Yeah.
That one is specifically, those scripts are for dating, but we have a ebook called Honorable Dialogues and the Conscious Communication Process. And the conscious communication process is a way to learn how to have safe conversations with your partner.
About the difficult things.
It's a framework, it's a step-by-step, and it has a lot to do with active listening and reflecting, and it's sandwiched with one of the A's, appreciations. And so there's a combined intention to talk about difficult things together in a way that
That's
allows
constructive.
each person to be understood. That's the primary goal. Understand first and then adapt. It's easy in relationships to want to fix the other person or fix the problem, and that's premature. Until you really understand both persons' perspective, it's not time to fix it. It's time to understand. And that's what the ebook Conscious Communication Process is about. So if you have a difficult firework, the fire gets out of hand, didn't have enough water buckets on hand, you need to take a time out. You were playing with matches
You're in
again.
the middle of a nightmare and you haven't gotten through the other side of it yet.
Yeah.
It's
After the
scary.
timeout,
It's very scary.
you know, if you're not using a third party like a therapist or a counselor or a coach to help mediate a conversation, that's a do-it-yourself guide that we created.
But usually the challenge isn't that of what's going on between them, it's they don't really have the skill to be able to facilitate clear communication and compassion. So there's skill. Many of you probably heard of Nonviolent Communication by Marshall Rosenberg. Brilliant, brilliant work for handling conflict and safety. So is that, yeah. So it's not always pretty, but it always ends up bringing us closer. But if you're with somebody and you're really not compatible with them, sometimes it's better not to be together. I tell couples when I work with them, I say, I don't see it as my job to keep you together. The only way you'll be able to stay together is if each of you independently come to a firm conviction in your heart that you want to invest and be in this relationship. And then I'll help you guys build a better relationship than you've ever had. But, you know, it's not. How many couples have I helped work with who said, till death do they part in their vows? And that just doesn't hold water for them anymore. It's not getting them across the difficult waters. So, anyway, thank you.
Thank you, everyone,
So-
for being with us and being in a safe environment where we could share so
Yeah.
openly and grow. It's always fun.
I would have loved to have a conversation like this when I was 20. My God. Yeah. So, all right, well, we're going to stay after. If you have any questions or you want to connect with us, you want to connect with each other, I thank you so much for your openness, Eric. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Thank you, everyone.
Okay.